Live now, but just in time.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread we're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder.
There we go. It is time. Let's roll this. Almost. It's episode 3 of WP Plugins A to Z Unplugged.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress plugins A to Z, not Z.
And today I have a new plugin review, some news tips, plugin extras, and more coming up on WP Plugins or Plugin Pulse, WP Plugins A to Z Unplugged. WordPress, the king of content management systems, powering the web with over 80,000 plugins to choose from. How do you sort the junk from the gems? Welcome to WP Plugins A to Z, where we've been keeping the pulse of WordPress alive for over 16 incredible years. Join us every week for an unrehearsed, real talk breakdowns of the latest and greatest plugins, developer and community member interviews. Some weeks, Amber and I team up to dig in. Others, I'm flying solo, unpacking WordPress news, demoing a standout plugin, or sharing tips to power up your site. No scripts, no fluff, just the good stuff from A to Z. So plug in and let's get rolling. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the brewery overlooking beautiful southern Vancouver Island. I'm John O'Rourke, all by myself today. My daughter Amber, who's usually on the show with me for this show, she got married over the weekend, and she's skedaddled out with her new hubby to go on a honeymoon. Well, I guess they got to go do that after everything. They were pretty burned out after all the effort of the wedding, but it was a great wedding. And for those that might be interested, you can catch it all at lynoverallwedding.com. Up there for the world to see. I thought it was lots of fun. Proud daddy here. Like to see that she's doing well. And all of that great time. So she's got some time off to go enjoy her new husband. She'll be back in 2 weeks' time, and we will get back to working real hard. All right, what am I doing? I've got a show, and we're going to see how long we can keep it going, and it will be rather fun and entertaining at times. And we're just going to talk of some things that are going to take us through a couple of different paths. I'm going to showcase a plugin live and talk about a couple of things that went down in the WordPress world over the last week and a half or so. First thing up, we're going to have a little discussion on here. Bing, bing, please turn your camera on. My camera's on, it's fine. Oh, yeah, I haven't changed the image. Find me. There we transition to me. How's that? It's better? Oh, I've tried to transition. Showtime. I have to do things differently because I'm doing it solo here. All right. So, what do we got? First up, there was a very interesting discussion started by Kevin Geary, who came to my attention back in the last spring when he had that one big, long show. I don't remember the fellow's name right now, but talking about you should not build a website for $5,000 or less than $5,000, which I thought was an interesting concept. He's come in with a whole new aspect, and that is this here. And he was spouting off about low code, no code era is donezo. And what he was talking about for context, he was talking about three groups of people who work on websites or have websites: the lay person with very little patience for building a website, the lay people, beginners, intermediates who have a lot of time and patience and desire to get through with learning, and experienced pros who use low code, no code vibe tools and simplistic page builders. And he goes, low code, no code vibe tools and simplistic page builders fail each of these groups in different ways. So we'll cover this one out. His in group one, he says the group thinks it's easy tools will help them, but they really have no time and patience and give up quickly. Well, I kind of agree with him there. I find that regularly with clients that come to me. They thought, I can do it myself, and they get into it and they find out it's actually work to use those tools. And they can't be helped, you're right. Group two, he's saying these ones will push through and spend countless hours learning proprietary, no code, low code, vibe code, UI, and actually be able to build stuff eventually. But it comes with a massive price tag because the same time could have been spent learning actual skills that are transferable to any number of pro interfaces. Instead, they have tons of hours invested in relatively basic proprietary that got a bit of a point there in that you can learn the basic skills or learn the skills where you can jump from tool to tool to tool, whichever one happens to work best with your brain. I've been bouncing around different tools over the years myself. And his final one, Experienced Pros, a group intensely frustrated by the limitations and bullshit inherent in no-code, low-code tools, jump ship almost immediately. Yes and no. There's a ton of experienced pros out there that use these low-code tools because it saves them a ton of time. They can still build just as high-quality stuff. And, of course, he's talking about pushing his Etch product most of the time is where he's working with this one here. And in the interview I did last week with folks, I have name issues. I'm easily pop back up here. I'll pop in here. There. With James Webb. There we go. James Webb. The interview I did last week, we got into talking about the Etch product because he really loves it. And I've only glanced at it, but he did help me understand what Etch is. And that Etch, from his perspective, and after I looked at it again, yeah, he's kind of right. It's kind of like Dreamweaver for WordPress. And for those of us that started in the Dreamweaver era, well, that was one of the tools we used to make our lives a whole lot easier because we could develop something and it would give us a visual output at the same time we're looking at, which is very helpful. These days, I build in Elementor, which gives me a pure visual element, and if I need the code, I can go and dig into the code. All right. So anyway, Kevin goes on saying the industry spent 10 years trying to engineer low-code, no-code tools, and been essentially an abject failure. Well, what he's done. Now, I can't say it's low code. It's a high code tool. And then he's like, the group 2 will completely disagree with it, of course. And his advice: anyone wants to persist in this industry, take your medicine, learn to acquire real skills, use real tools. The AI era has no use for low-skilled workers. Well, he's right there. From what I've seen with AI and those that have been using AI, and the AI stuff, if you don't have any skills and you use AI to build, that happened in the very beginning of this year. I saw it a couple of times. I built this wonderful, cool app, and then a little while later, the guy comes back and goes, "Oh my God, I got this great bill for my API key usage because I forgot to, I didn't know about protecting the API key." That's the problem. If you don't understand, the AI will build it in the simplest way possible. It's like going back to the early years of the internet when code was first created. It wasn't as secure as it is now because it didn't have. It was way easier until all of the scammers, hackers, and the evildoers, for lack of better terms for them all of those showed up and started screwing with the system and messing with it. And then we had to start building stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger security, to the point now where security is a real pain in the ass just to get anything done. That's the way it works. Now we'll pop in here with a couple of comments from different people. We've got a whole nother thread based upon this thread that came from Andrew Hoyer. We'll be popping into that, but I just want to see a couple of things here. One, Matt Mullenweg popped in on him and said, except WordPress itself is a no-code, low-code, and massively successful. He's mostly right there. You don't have to, if you use WordPress at its basic level, it doesn't require any coding. But I kind of think that Kevin here is getting beyond the point of all the people who need websites, and there are tons of businesses that need websites that can't spend the $5,000. They need to be somewhere around a $1,000 to $4,000 area, and they're building basic websites to put their business out there so that they can be found a little, not depend upon all the social media, which is constantly changing their algorithms and everything else. Where businesses, it still happens to these days, people build up a business on Facebook Marketplace or somewhere else, and they do something that pisses off the people who run it, say the wrong thing, and boom, their whole business is wiped out. They've been taken down because they said something that someone didn't like. Still happens. Also with, I haven't seen one happen in a while, but there have been numerous social media companies that get really big. People start to build on them, and then the company goes, you know what, we're folding up shop, we're done, we don't have enough money, we're not making enough money with this, we're done, bye-bye, you got 30 days to collect your money. Actually, one occurred recently. It wasn't social media, it was another service as a software. It was some sort of online tax account, and they closed up shop after years of running. People only had X amount of time to get their data off there. So let's see where we got here. And of course, Gary comes back. He doesn't know a single person who could come in off the street and build a WordPress website without suffering through an agonizing learning curve. Well, that's pretty much true. If you come in straight off the street cold, you'd have a tough time doing it. Nowhere near. This is one of the reasons why we have the rise of Shopify and Wix and others, because people can come in off the street and it's all drag and drop and plug and play, and they end up with websites that aren't nearly as bad as the old GeoCities, but they're pretty close. You know, GeoCities was the most famous one for that one. Just the GeoCities days, the cool way. See how we're going here. All right. So the conversation continued for quite some time back and forth here. There was a nice comment here from generalist Sam, and he was going, well, this isn't true. The statement of no code, low code tools don't actually serve anyone, reeks of bias, and I get it, especially coming from a developer's perspective, but you need to look beyond the WordPress bubbles. Tools like Framer, Webflow are growing fast. Yeah, I heard that name a couple of times. So these tools all exist in numerous ways. And what I think they don't take into consideration here is they don't consider the different person's mindset or how different brains can latch on to something to build the same thing. I mean, for every problem you have on the internet you want to solve, there's at least a dozen ways to solve that problem. You can come at it from multiple angles, and because different people see a different path. Like climbing to the top of a mountain, there's a million paths to the top of the mountain. Some are just harder than others, and some are well beaten paths to the top of the mountain. So, some of them you have to come up the sheer side of it. But anyway, what else do we got here? Let's see what else is poking around in this one here. Themify was James Webb. We talked about Themify stuff and yeah, no, couldn't use it. There's Divi, that was the one. But I keep hearing these new things about Divi. So let's pop into what led me to this thread originally was Andrew Hoyer's and he was kicking out to WordPress devs. Weigh in, check out the quoted post and thread. What do you think? Developers and agencies that use any number of page editors of no code at risk of being replaced. I think that was something else that was said in Gary's post there. And this is the big one, is that the discussion went off this way: with all these no-code tools, are you going to be replaced as a developer? This is where the thread went here. And no, absolutely not. I mean, you can look at everything that has occurred in WordPress WordPress is now 21. But I've been working with it now for 17 years. No, they've had a lot of changes, a lot of new tools, a lot of easy builders come and go. Some of them have managed to stick and become better and better. A lot of people have abandoned it to go off to other places, but many of them come back to WordPress. Biggest reason why is it's a low point of entry for WordPress. A very low point of entry as far as costs go. And that meaning in that aspect there, it's for those that have time on their hands and not a lot of money. If you have time and not a lot of money, WordPress is the best place to start building a website for your business. Or if you're looking to build a business and you have a lot of time and no money, WordPress is an excellent place to build a business once you find your niche in it. But what that allows is for those that are building a website for, say, their business, we're going to go with the client version of WordPress. And I've had a few businesses that have become clients of mine. They started out doing it themselves and they used WordPress to do it. And that allowed them to get started. They built fast sites, kind of ugly, little problems, a little problematic here, but they managed to get it up and keep it going. And eventually, as their business grows, they realize that they don't want to do their website anymore. They don't have time to do it. All they want to do is make sure it's kept up to date. Maybe they want to improve it with a more professional design to match their business as it's growing professionalism. So they end up, reaching out to developers to do this. They find themselves a developer through recommendations or online and so that's what's going to happen. And this will continue to happen along that line. It will never replace the developers. They will always be there at various levels. There's always going to be developers that produce the $500 websites, and there's always going to be developers that produce what do they charge for big ones I heard that cost millions of dollars to build out a website. So, and still on WordPress. WordPress scales depending on what you need. Now, granted, as you scale, you might have to scale up from the shared hosting onto your VPN hosting onto your own server. That makes it even better. So you'll as you scale, you scale. Now, one of the things that I saw through all this articles in here, there was a bit of discussion came back in about businesses not needing a website and that they can live with social media. Well, that's not true at all. And what that does is people do need a web presence aside from Google Places, Facebook Marketplace, Facebook or Twitter or others that can help you find some people, but it won't help you find enough. If you have your own website, you now have what used to be a Yellow Pages ad. This is the one argument I have to give some businesses, especially if they know about the Yellow Pages, because, well, many people don't know about the pages now, from the very few out there that still have a couple of Yellow Page books hanging around. I remember when they used to be so thick, you used them for booster seats, small kids at the table. Last time I saw one, it was thinner than a weekend comic book. So they Yellow Pages, they really screwed up at the beginning of the internet. But that's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down. But I had a business back in the 90s, an automotive shop, and I had to buy a Yellow Page ad so people could find me. Yellow Page ads back then, this 90s, my Yellow Page ad for 8th page ad used to cost me $400 a month, some ridiculous sum for the smallish Yellow Page ad. To have a decent, you got a free listing, but your name was just listed. You need the ad to stand out. And that's kind of a good comparison for Google Places, Facebook. They're like free listings in the Yellow Pages, and people have to scroll through them or go use them to find you. Whereas your website is your big Yellow Page ad. And back in the day, you budgeted in anywhere from $200 to $1,000 a month, depending on how big of an ad you wanted, into your monthly marketing budget. This is what a lot of businesses have lost in their building of a business, is they don't put this into their marketing budget for managing their website. A website can cost you as little as, $15 a month in hosting, $24 for a domain name, and whatever time you put into your own website. But if you want it professionally done, you got to hire a professional, and they can run you as much as $75 a month for upkeep, maintenance, and SEO. Actually, SEO costs way more than $75 a month. But the point being is you need a professional to help you get beyond the basics unless you have more time than money. That's always a tough one when you're starting out with a business. Let's see, what else do you have in here on rummaging on this? All right. I've got some summaries on these. Let's go with a summary from Andrew's post. And his summary, the summary on this is he's quoting from Kevin's post, who argued low code, no code era is over. It's not. It's not going away. It's going to be here for quite some time to go. Always be new tools that people will be able to use. And he's predicting that tools such as simplistic page builders will be replaced in the AI era. Well, we're already seeing the attempts at AI to replace those tools. And those attempts at AI replacing those tools are not overly effective, and they are going to create problems down the road. I'm looking forward to the day when all of the AI mess and they have to hire developers like us to come in and clean up that mess, which is what's always enjoyable when people do this. And as Blake says, sticking to those outdated models, PHP themes are at a higher risk. AI and page builders like Elementor will thrive, balancing pro features with ease for edit. Well, that is one thing that Elementor is doing well. And Elementor is bringing out a new type of editor they've been working on in beta. I've only briefly touched it. I need to put it fully up on one of my dev sites and see what it's going to do, but it's going to make accessing the code a whole lot easier. It's going to be using class bases. One of my devices has. All right. I think that's enough babbling in this particular zone here. So where I'm going to go now, see where I'm at here. I always put them in a nice order until I look at them. And of course, this weekend was a absolute, utter chaos. As the wedding went on, it was storming, raining. It was a rough weekend. So I didn't have time to finish all my notes till this morning for the show. All right, here's one thing. Some news bites, a couple of news bites for this week. Now, I've got a news bite here from Mullenweg doing an interview for Search Engine Journal. And in this Q&A session at WordCamp Canada, Mullenweg discussed strategies for protecting the platform's open source ethos from profit-driven companies that may not contribute back to the community. And my big problem with this sort of thing is that everybody in the WordPress community is profit-driven in some way, shape, or form. Unless they're, well, even pure information people start ads on there. Everyone's profit-driven in one way, shape, or form. They're profit-driven for cash, or they're profit-driven for recognition, or they're profit-driven for something. But at any rate, the thing is he was outlining ways to incentivize positive behavior, including enforcing GPL compliance, which isn't overly hard to enforce. And you got to remember, it's so vague, the GPL, in that, you have the companies out there that buy up the pro GPL licenses, strip out the code that requires the license, and then they resell them, which to me is absolutely wrong. But that's about ethics, not the license. It boils down to the ethics for GPL license. It's always a problem. And then he's talking about voting with your wallet by supporting ethical companies. And discussion highlighted tensions in the WordPress ecosystem, balancing community values, commercial motivations, suggesting proactive measures like certifications to promote good actors. Well, who defines a good actor? Who defines who's doing the right thing? Well, whoever is in control of the switches there at WordPress.org defines it. As I'm a perfect example of that myself, in that I am not welcome on the WordPress.org website. Took away all my credentials and told me to go away. So I've stayed away from them for years. But I'm still doing lots of good things in the WordPress community. I still believe in this software. I still believe there's the ability to make a living for all kinds of people in here, and you don't have to be involved into the WordPress community of the WordPress.org community. You can be involved in the other aspects of the WordPress community. This podcast, for one, it's been going now for 16 years. And once upon a time, I used to take the reviews and I used to publish them over at WordPress.org, which is why I got banned, because I used to put my reviews there. And I used to mention in a review, hey, I reviewed your plugin on my show. They didn't like that. Much advertising, I guess. That's one of the things that annoyed me most about this. It's like, well, wouldn't they like to know everything I said instead of just a little snippet here about how we showcased it? But no, At any rate, that's what they do. They decide who is contributing the most based upon how much money you put in there. And they also, I haven't looked into the framework, but I guess that contribute five, the 5 for 5 or something like that, is based upon certain types of inputs into WordPress. It doesn't include other WordPress inputs such as a podcast which shares the news and promotes and showcases how easy and good WordPress is. One of my big reasons for WordPress is because it helps you maintain control of all of your data. Let's see, yeah. We just lost the thread on that one, but that's okay. Coffee. That's what it is. We need more coffee. We're blending the beans today from Kicking Horse Coffee, the jolly ass coffee and the smart ass coffee. Between the two asses, it should make a whole. All right, let's see what we've got going on here. So this is an interesting article. It does have some of Matt's spiciest comments from last year when he called out WP Engine as a bad actor, specifically. But he called them. He actually used those terms, and they managed to capture that. So we've got a lot going on in this area here, and we'll see what happens. And of course, there's been some action in the lawsuit between WordPress and WP Engine. That's been going on. They added in a couple of things that this week, so you'll have to just go find the news. Thinking of finding that news, I've got something that everyone might enjoy. I don't know how I tripped across it, probably through it, but it's called Feedland, wp.feedland.org, and they have the latest up-to-the-minute news feeds from numerous places. So you can always find whatever's happening in the, like this one here was loaded up a little while ago. Loaded seconds. They got WP Minute, Search Engine Journal, Open Channels FM, WP Mayor, Gutenberg Times, WordPress Daveverse feed, Gutenberg Times, WordPress Matt Mullenweg feed, the Iconic feed, and we'll come into Iconic here in just a few, and more. There's just a lot of really great things in here, and it's a really excellent way to catch up and see what happens. So last one there, 4:45. I didn't load it. Load. There it is. Okay, so it's still the same feed. All right, the feed hasn't been updated yet. But anyway, go check out this feed for some news. You're smart and jolly today, you bet. Feel free to comment, people. I'm always up for comments to help change the thread of where this is going. We've got 5 people watching. Come on. Lots of comments. Hi, going Hemedian. Nice to see you in here. Sorry Amber's not here. She's off on her honeymoon. Those of you that didn't catch the beginning of the show, the reason I'm doing this one alone this week is because Amber's gone on her honeymoon with her new hubby. They got married over the week. All right. All right, we're going to dive now into a new plugin, and I'll showcase that plugin here. I've already loaded it up on my dev site, but everyone knows how to install a plugin, so we don't need to explain that. Let's go talk in on this now. This is from Iconic Nick. Icon Nick. Icon Nick? I've been calling him Iconic Nick. Iconic. That's it. Iconic. He's got it. Iconic. Now I've got it. All right. He built a plugin to curate WordPress plugins and suggests that you use it. And I think you should probably use it too if you're looking for some of those hidden gems. He's got a really great thing, a really great post here on it. Talking about the 60,000 plugin problem. Well, that's only the ones that are listed at WordPress.org. That doesn't include the ones that are listed in numerous other places across the web. My guess is we're roughly over 120,000 plugins on the whole internet. for WordPress. Some are good, some are bad, some are scary as hell, some are fantastic, and some have claimed the crown jewels, and because of the claiming of the crown jewels, it's near impossible to find the others. So at any rate, what he did, he built a plugin called Hidden Gems, and he also built another plugin called Plugin Curator. Now, I haven't tested his Plugin Curator plugin. And what is Plugin Curator one? We'll talk about that one real quickly. What it does is when you load it up, it allows you to create your own customized JSON file for plugins that you think your clients should see when they're working on their WordPress website, install plugins, recommending the ones you think they should load up. The way he's got this plugin designed, and I was thinking about it initially, I saw somebody made a comment and say, hey, can you make it so that JSON file is local? But he's got the files so that it's remote to the plugin. And I thought, well, it could, but then that would take away from what you're going to do. What you as a agency or web hosting provider to providing hosting to multiple WordPress websites, you can have this installed on every version of WordPress that gets installed on your servers. And with your own JSON file, you can update and change the JSON file that is always fed into people. So let's go take a quick look at that one real quick. Now, that one there, it's available over at GitHub. Links will be in the show notes when the show notes are published. And this one here is you can download the files from GitHub and install them up there. He's got a really good README file, tells you how to use it and tells you how to build the JSON file. From his post, which you can find in here, he's got a link to his own customized version of the JSON file. Here we go. You can see his customized version of JSON file, which you can use if you'd like, and gives you a starting point. So at any rate, you might want to go check this one out. So the one I'm going to talk about real briefly here is the other one, which is we're going to talk about his Hidden Gems plugin. And this one is really kind of cool. I really kind of like how this one works. It helps you dig up plugins that are got few installs and other options with it. And again, files for that are contained up on GitHub, so you'll have to go download it from GitHub and then upload it and install it to your WordPress website. That I'm not going to be going into today. All right, so, but I do have it loaded up here on my dev site. And in my dev site under added plugins, I've added it all up there. And what it does for you, when you go to add new plugins, you've got your usual featured ones, which are limited to what WordPress says you have. Now, if you use the other plugin, the plugin curator, I think it replaces the featured. Yes, it replaces the featured with your recommendations for a plugin here. Then, of course, you've got the usual popular one, which is pretty close to the same ones as the ones they feature. Looks like it's mildly changing. Recommended ones, which, of course, okay, it's the recommended and the feature, which are almost favorites, which if you have a WordPress.org username account and you save your own list of feature plugins, you can toss that username in here and get the favorites from. Not sure if it works for anyone else. I haven't used that in years. I had built up a really nice in my account. Then you've got the Hidden Gems one. And it comes up and first loads up some random ones until you start to sort. And what it did was it searched for any that had less than 100K installs, any star rating, and sorted by the newest in here. So these are the newest ones in here. Let's see, take a look at what we got here. 19 minutes ago. So this plugin was just released into the WordPress world. Last updated 19 minutes ago. Okay, so called the Smart Autocomplete Address. Autocomplete Address plugin. Completing addresses. Sure. Oh, WooCommerce. So at any rate, you can use it for finding all kinds of interesting plugins that don't exist normally, such as Digital A Mailer, Audit Wave, SEO, Audit Wave SEO. Okay, so it's a new SEO. Added 0 day. Yeah, these are all the newest ones. 0 days ago. These are all brand new into the WordPress repo. And once upon a time, there used to be a tab for all these plugins that added into the repo. So you could always go see what was new. That was one of the ways we used to showcase plugins on. You have to use this to dig out new plugins to use. On the whole, it's looking pretty fantastic. So at any rate, it's a very simple plugin. You can use it to search for any terms you want. We'll go search for security plugins, and it pops up a whole bunch of underused security plugins. Drop it down. 10,000 installs for gives us the same ones. My newest updated one. There you go. There's a neat one. Guard Dog Security and Site Lock. Super hidden gem. All right, why did it get a super hidden gem? So he's got a tag on here that tells you it's a super hidden gem and hidden gem. Take a quick look at Guard Dog. Keep their installations clean and secure. Lock. Here. Act user to gem. Okay, I would have to go through and read all this, but like a interesting security plugin. Got 70 active installs of this plugin, so nobody knows it exists. Got the other one here, customer email verification for WooCommerce. Well, this one could be very useful for people. WP Factory, more of their plugins. 8,000 installs. So. But customer email verification for WooCommerce. So I'm going to verify I assume it's going to verify the email address in WooCommerce. So this is a very useful plugin. I'll make sure to be bringing it to regular shows to recommend it out for a while until it gets more installs. And of course, you have to go manually install this. It's not available through the WordPress repo. You got to go get it over at GitHub. All right. You take a mid-show break. Back, but keep you guys entertained. Play one of my
Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In the search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Preacher man discovered, passed down from saint to sage, like a kind-hearted lover who's been lost on this stage. Went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Tucky and the Chigger just seen who done the crime. Captain pulled the trigger, guess who's doing time? They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, is he yours or is he mine? Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In our search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. We're missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Devil's at a crossroads, Joker's doing fine. Just sitting doing time.
There we go. We're back. Thanks, everyone. It's midwinter sun. So low on the horizon now. It's a nice, sunny, gorgeous day here on southern Vancouver. 4, 5 storms. Always nice when the sun comes back out. All right. Let's see where I've got. I don't have much else. That pretty much covers up what we're wanted to showcase in today's show. I wanted to, mention a couple of others. You might want to, if you're not following him already, go follow Iconic. Go follow Nick. Nick's his name. Go follow him on Twitter. Working really hard to mention people. Now Nick gets a lot of attention, but then he's a pretty busy fellow, and he's put out a lot of decent plugins and other weeks. Last couple of months he's been. So another one, a little underrated. Nobody really follows them. Go give them some love. They've only got 320 followers. WP Security Ninja. They have a lot. They put out a lot of really good security tips for managing your website. I also did an interview with them way back. Go dig through our archives to find it. So go check them out. If you know anyone you want to recommend, send them to me. We'll make sure they get into the show notes and showcase the different people. We're trying really hard to surface the hidden gems of WordPress, the underutilized, the people who have been sidelined or sent off to the benches, for lack of a better term right now. I can go back to about 10 years ago with this show. Wish I could remember it, but I had showcased, maybe 12 years ago, I'd showcased a member that was brand new, hot off the presses, would have wiped the face of every membership just at the time, and I imagine if they kept growing, they would be the number one. Problem is he didn't have a very good, he's like me, not very good at the politics, dealing with all the org, and he managed to piss off probably the same I pissed off. And they sidelined him, and he kept trying so hard, and I did my best to showcase the stuff on my show. But then one day, him and I were emailing back. He says, you know what? I'm going to go get a job doing something else. I'm not going to. He walked away from it. I don't know if he ever came back to coding, but it was a shame to lose that kind of talent because of the politics of org forums. That's what I'm looking for, the forums in WordPress stuff. more than just the plugins and other things. And from my own personal experience, there's some jerks there. And they are not forgiving at all. Even when you try to make amends, they are like, they get on their high horse. Go. And there's still people that bitch about the ways they've been treated in it, which is a shame. And that just goes with the whole system. At any rate, that's my little rant for the end here, and how when we had that article about Matt talking about how to improve WordPress, the best way he can improve WordPress is start by improving on the organization, volunteers, and semi-paid volunteers. Oh, well. No apologies at all, Hemdian. Hey, look, you're holding on to the #1 crown right now. This gives you the opportunity to completely steal that crown from Amber, because it's based upon a cumulative score. I've figured out, because of one show that I pop into from time, make a couple of comments, and all of a sudden I've got the #1 crown, and there's lots of other people coming. For some reason I crown with only a few. Well, hopefully it gets you well. At any rate, this is really all I've got. I've managed to push this show to a whole 48 minutes today, and by the time I wrap it up, we might even be pushing 50 minutes. But thank you, everyone, for showing up. And for those of you that showed up late to the show, the reason you're listening to my voice and my voice alone is because Amber has gone. They wouldn't even tell us where they were going for their honeymoon. They're just saying, we're leaving, we're going off the grid. They're unplugging their devices, so they're hiding somewhere where nobody really knows where they've gone. They just vanished. Oh, well, good for them. At any rate, and it was a really great wedding. For those that want to see Amber's wedding, you can go to lynoverallwedding.com, and that's LINN. Go check out their website, which I'll be putting up a whole videos that I took probably later tomorrow. But the live stream, we live stream her wedding. Friends and family that couldn't make it, and for anyone else in the world that wants to enjoy a good Celtic Scandinavian wedding. What it was. It was a Celtic Scandinavian wedding. Go check it out, folks. It's a really cool thing, and that's really all I've got today. So to push this and say thanks for showing up. We will talk at you next week. Next week I am doing an interview show. Who am I in? I have a list of interviews. Come on, brain. Where's my brain? I have a brain there that's supposed to be making comments for me. Oh, are they resolved in alphabetical order? Well, they'll never be that, because but I don't think her username is Amber. Something else. It's with an M. So if it's her username. All right. So anyway, I do have an interview next week, and I can't find my list. Tune in next week. That one won't work. And listen to the interview. It should be a good one. I always do a nice job of preparing for the interview. So with that being said, we're going to close out the show with a little bit of music, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread we're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder.
Alrighty, folks, that's all I've got. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Oh my god, that is amazing!
Oh no. Obviously, we just lost the satellite feed.